India Global.
India Global. Hello and welcome. Join us as we travel to an island country in the Indian Ocean, off the eastern coast of southern Africa.
Over 90% of its wildlife is found nowhere else on Earth, and that includes the lemurs.
The theory being that this is the result of the relative isolation in which the island nation evolved after having split from India during the prehistoric breakup of the supercontinent Gondwana millions of years ago. And though Africa lies just across the Mozambique Channel, the first settlers here were seafaring Asians from Borneo in Indonesia.
Vanilla, the flavoring which comes from a type of orchid, is one of its best-known products.
And it is among the world's largest producers of sapphires.
Come, let's travel to the fourth largest island in the world.
Often called the Great Red Island because of its red soil, Madagascar. The Republic of Madagascar is a constitutional democracy. A popularly elected president nominates a prime minister, who in turn recommends a council of ministers to the president for government formation.
Majority of the Malagasy, as the people here are called, trace their ancestry to Southeast Asia and East Africa. There are also French, Comorians, Indians and Chinese. Malagasy is also the name of the official language, along with French, the country having been a French colony. The capital is Antananarivo. You just heard Valiha, the traditional musical instrument of Madagascar.
India has had maritime links with Madagascar for several centuries. Settlements of Indian merchants in Madagascar date at least to the late 18th century. The late 19th and early years of the 20th century saw a steady flow of Indians to Madagascar, and soon many of them began to play a significant role in business.
Presently, there are around 20,000 persons of Indian origin in Madagascar. 2014 marks the Diamond Jubilee year of diplomatic ties between India and Madagascar. On the warm and cordial relations between India and Madagascar, India's ambassador Chandraballabh Taplial says,
Madagascar and India are separated by Indian Ocean, and thus India has a particular affinity towards Madagascar as it is in its extended neighborhood. As part of South-South cooperation, India's focus has been on sharing its developmental experiences with countries which separated themselves from the colonial yoke. Thus, India's primary focus in Madagascar so far has been on capacity building through Indian technical and economic cooperation and other programs, so that the country could take the maximum benefit of India's developmental experience. India's contribution to capacity building in Madagascar has been widely appreciated by both the local population and the government.
A unique goodwill visit of 4 Indian naval ships to Madagascar marked a high point in relations between the two countries. Ambassador Taplial elaborates.
In October 2014, 4 Indian naval ships under the overall command of Rear Admiral R. Harikamwar made a port call at Antsiranana, which symbolizes the willingness on the part of the two countries to take the bilateral relations to a new level. During the visit, the Indian naval personnel imparted training to Malagasy Army, Gendarmerie and Navy in the field of anti-piracy and damage control and firefighting. They also participated in philanthropic activities. This is the first time in the history of Antsiranana that 4 naval ships from any particular country had visited the port at a time.
You just heard some contemporary music from Madagascar. Ambassador Taplial lists out potential areas of cooperation between India and Madagascar, including in the field of Indian investment.
There is great potential for cooperation in the areas of agriculture, food processing, pharmaceuticals, especially in the manufacture of generic medicines, setting up of technological innovation centers for pharmaceutical research, small fertilizer units, also for investments by India in small and medium enterprises, mining, oil and gas, education, professional training and healthcare sectors.
In 2005, Madagascar announced that it had found large amounts of oil. This could be a key part of Madagascar's economic future, along with mining, gemstone production and tourism. India and Madagascar enjoy good trade relations, says Ambassador Taplial.
India and Madagascar have been enjoying trade relations since 18th century. Madagascar is currently exporting coffee, tea and spices, vegetables, salt, sulfur and earth, essential oils and resinoids, base metals, precious and semi-precious stones to India. India's export basket includes cereals, apparel products, iron and steel, cotton, pharmaceutical products, products of the milling industry, sugar and sugar confectionery. Bilateral trade during 2013-14 was $291.55 million.
Economic ties can be strengthened further by tapping into each other's strengths, observes India's Ambassador Chandra Ballabh Thapliyal.
Potential for further increase exists if concerted efforts are made by the two sides. Madagascar would be greatly benefited if it fully utilizes the duty-free tariff scheme offered by Government of India for the least developed countries. Likewise, India will be benefited if it carries out periodic promotion of Indian products in Madagascar. Madagascar can become an important trade and investment partner for India because it is rich in natural resources, including a variety of unprocessed agricultural and mineral resources. Madagascar is home to key mineral resources. It supplies almost half of the world's sapphires. The island also holds one of the world's largest reserves of ilmenite, also known as titanium ore, and sizable reserves of chromite, coal, iron, cobalt, copper, and nickel. It also has large oil reserves. The country wants to set up agro-based industries and small and medium enterprises which provide great opportunities for Indian companies.
We just heard some traditional Malagasy music. India's historic links with Madagascar has contributed to an appreciation of Indian art, culture and cuisine, and Indian influences can be seen in the lifestyles of people, especially in the coastal areas where the first waves of Indian settlements took place. Malagasys watch Bollywood movies, wear Indian dresses, and enjoy Indian food.
Traditional Malagasy cuisine has large amounts of rice, and spicy curries are popular, owing much to the Indian community. Samosas and jalebis are favorites too.
Better connectivity can strengthen these cultural ties further, says India's ambassador to Madagascar, Chandra Ballabh Thapliyal.
Cultural ties with Madagascar are on a strong footing due to the Indian community. While people-to-people contact with Madagascar is ongoing through individual and Indian government initiatives, the movement of people and cultural ties is greatly hampered by lack of direct air connectivity between India and Madagascar. Moreover, there is not much awareness about Madagascar and its touristic attractions in India.
And of course, the Indian community's contribution to Madagascar's development is a special aspect of bilateral ties, adds Ambassador Thapliyal.
The existence of around 20,000 strong, vibrant Indian community and their active contribution to Malagasy economy is a fact that I would very much like to highlight. Lately, one notices that Indian companies have started showing interest towards investing in Madagascar, which is a good sign. Madagascar has great tourist potential in terms of clean beaches, wildlife, and presence of large Indian community which can be exploited by the Indian tourism industry. Large Indian community can also partner with the Indian companies in exploring Madagascar's natural resources, including oil and gas.
That wraps up our visit to Madagascar. But before we go, here's a question for you.
What is the geological discovery made early last year relevant to India and Madagascar?
Send in your answers to indiajourneys360@gmail.com. The first 3 listeners sending in the correct answer will get a music CD from AIR's archives and a DVD from the Ministry of External Affairs. Don't forget to write your address and phone number when you mail us.
Congratulations Chandana Tota from Guntur in Andhra Pradesh, Anindo Sengupta from Kolkata in West Bengal, and Bappi Gunturi Prasuna from Anushakti Nagar in Mumbai for sending in the right answer to the question on Denmark.
Dr. Ramji Prasad is a prominent Indian in Denmark who is the founder chairman of the Global ICT Standardization Forum.
Until next time then, goodbye.
And travel safe.